Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Jermaine Morgan TV. You're watching Grooves and Motivation. So we're going to play a little bit and we're going to talk a little bit, so stay tuned. So many of you might know that I'm a bass coach, and recently I was having this conversation with one of my students. And this particular student has been doing really well, especially in the leaps and bounds that he's been making in his career. He hasn't really been playing that long, but he's been covering a lot of ground in the work that he's been putting in. But recently he had an audition at this particular place, and the audition didn't really go so well. He didn't receive a great review from the people who he was auditioning with, and it was very discouraging to him. And when he told me about this immediately made me think about my own life and made me think about all the letdowns that I had experienced being an up-and-coming musician, and it can be really discouraging. So I decided today that I want to share something with you all that would encourage you if you're finding yourself in that funk of a place where you're feeling like giving up and all you're doing is sitting there counting all your losses. Well, first and foremost, stop doing that. Stop counting all your losses, because your losses will never equal to a win. If you're looking at them from the perspective of a loss, it will never equal to a win. So you have to look at your situation and find some positive in your situation. One of the things that I told my student, I said, look, man, you haven't really been playing this long. And yeah, they didn't give you the response that you were looking for, and it was very discouraging. Literally, he thought about quitting, putting his bass down and not picking it up anymore. And I know the feeling. I said, but you got to look at the ground that you've covered to be able to have the confidence to go into that situation and even audition, even have the confidence, hey, that I'm going to learn these songs even though you didn't give them to me in enough time. And the fact that you went in there, you learned the material, you did what you were supposed to do. No, you didn't get the desired outcome that you thought you were going to get, but the idea that you were able to go in there confidently and do what you had to do. Give yourself credit for that, because when we first started these coaching sessions, you didn't even have the confidence to attempt anything like that. But here you are less than a year later, and you made these leaps and bounds as it pertains to your playing, as it pertains to your career choice, and some of the things you're doing. So you have to give yourself credit for where you currently are, because you haven't always been at this place. And I think that's the problem that comes about when we're going through these things. We often forget where we've come from. We're just looking at the current situation. The bad thing about being you is you never see you the way that everybody else sees you. You never see your own wins the way that everybody else sees the wins. Unless you're a person that's super arrogant and that's super conceited and you're looking at everything as a win. And I think it's a balance in that thing where you can't consider everything a win. You have to take the losses, you have to look at the failures, and you have to receive those as well, because those are necessary for the growth that you need. But everything shouldn't be counted as a loss. Don't have yourself rated so high that when something happens, you fall so far down. You have to have a sober mindset about yourself, meaning not thinking too highly of who you are, but at the same time giving yourself credit for what you know you do well, giving yourself credit for the progress that you are making, because you're not in the same spot that you used to be. So don't go through life feeling like you're always failing. Count the win in that situation. Okay, what lesson did you learn from that perceived failure that you have? Is it something that you can take and put it elsewhere? Is it something that you can take and grow from? Or is it just something that was an all-out fail? I didn't get anything from this situation. You have to make sure that you adjust your perspective so you see things in the right light. I believe that there's something that we can take away from every scenario. No matter how negative it seems, there's some positive somewhere in there. You have to look for what they call the silver lining in every situation that you go through. There is a learning opportunity. There is a learning opportunity in everything that we go through. So I just want to encourage you guys, don't always count the failures. Don't always count the losses. Look at how you're winning, okay? You're playing this instrument. And I know it can be super, super discouraging when you're in the beginner, intermediate stages. Heck, even as a advanced player, you could still have those setbacks where you feel like you're not growing. You feel like you're in the same spot that you've been for the last 10 years. Give yourself credit. Give yourself credit for the things that you've been doing. There's an old saying that a watch pot never boils. Meaning if you're sitting there and watch this pot, it looks like it's going to take forever for it to come to a boil. But if you set the pot up, put the water in there, turn it on, walk off for maybe 10, 15 minutes and come back, you see that thing boiling. So sometimes you have to step away from your own perspective. You have to step away from your own vantage point, go away, do something else, and then come back and look at the situation. A good way that I encourage my students to do this, I said, start recording your practice times. You know what I'm saying? Don't just look at all of them immediately once you record them. No, record your practice session a day. Put it away somewhere. And about a month later, listen to that practice session and compare it to the one that you just recorded right now, and compare it and see, is there any growth that you could measure? Now, if you do that over the next 3 to 6 months, you'll probably see a substantial amount of growth in your plan, but that's hard to see when you're always listening to you and you're always listening to be your worst critic. Nothing wrong with critiquing yourself, but don't become your worst critic. I know from experience that that's not healthy. It's good to, again, assess and make sure you're keeping up with where you need to make the corrections. But don't become your worst critic to the point that you can't even enjoy what you are doing well. So again, guys, I just wanted to leave you with a thought and some encouragement. You can't sit there and keep counting all of the losses, because you're not taking into consideration all the wins that you might be having. Give yourself credit for what you're doing. Give yourself time to grow and allow yourself to learn from each upset, each failure, each thing that looks like it's bad. Allow yourself to learn and grow from that situation, and I guarantee you'll be much better off. Listen, this has been Jermaine Morgan. I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you guys and hopefully help you out of that funk that you've been in because you've been looking at things from the wrong perspective. I'd love to help you on your journey as a musician, as a bass player, however this applies to you. Again, I have bass coaching. If you want to know more about that, please visit JermaineMorgan.net and let's set up a call. Let's set up a one-time call and let's see how I can help you continue to move forward in your journey. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to share it with someone. Also, be sure to like it and hit that bell notification so you know when I'm going live. And matter of fact, are you a subscriber to this channel? If you're not already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any content that I'm sharing with you guys, because I want to help you to be better and ultimately to unlock your sound. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Peace.